You're welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Business Incorporated on Channels Television. Now, gold hits a one-month high on Wednesday as investors grew more concerned about the global economic outlook and started looking for safe haven assets on signs the U.S. presidential and general election race was tightening. The mounting anxiety over the elections after the renewal of the FBI probe into Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton's emails has left investors favoring gold and other safer assets over riskier ones like stocks. Spot gold was up 0.3% at $1,292 an ounce. The bullion touched its highest since October 4 at $1,293.10 per ounce. U.S. gold futures rose to $1,293.10 per ounce after earlier touching a one-month high at $1,294.10. Economic diversification is one of the buzzwords in Nigeria, a major objective of the Buhari administration. But a group of business leaders under the umbrella of the Nigerian German Business Association believes that dual vocational training holds the answer. In this interview with Channel's business producer Temple Ashaju, a member of the German Industry and Commerce, Dr. Mark Lucasen, suggests that vocational training should be mandated as a law.
With highlighting the characteristics of the German system, which can serve as a basis for the vocational training concept here in Nigeria. In Germany, the government and the private sector both play a role in bringing forward and developing the vocational system in our country. They both share the financial burden. They both organize in partnership the vocational training system that we have on ground and that yield a very low unemployment rate in Germany among the youth, that yields skilled workers for the industry, which is mainly comprising of small and medium-sized businesses in Germany. Many people do not know that our economy, which is the fourth largest on planet Earth, with only 82 million people, is mainly comprising of small and medium-sized businesses, and all these businesses in Germany are in vocational training, active in vocational training, by law.
So given the skills gap survey that has been done on Nigeria, what's your assessment? And are you willing to partner with the Industrial Training Fund in this country to move things forward?
Well, obviously it's something to consider. Everybody is welcome to partner within the system, but we have to face the truth. The problem of Nigeria to date is that the system is underfunded. Vocational training is an expensive endeavor. The system is fragmented. As we saw today, we have a couple of stakeholders that are barely collaborating closely. The private sector is not really integrated into the current concept. If you want the vocational training to strive to become a system that is successful and serves as an later employment opportunity for the youth in this country, you have to involve the private sector. You have to upgrade the status of the chambers in this country. As I mentioned, chambers in Germany are mandatory. Mandatory membership. All companies in my country, millions of them, are members of a regional local chamber. What does it lead to? You have advocacy, political advocacy, and you have funding. And this is why the German state then can ask the private sector to collaborate and to contribute. And therefore the cost burden then is shared equally. This is something I would like to see in Nigeria, and I think the time is ripe, because if we are thinking about diversification and an industrialization of certain sectors, this can only work with skilled labor and can only work with a proper system that yields millions of skilled workers a year, not thousands.
All has been said and done here. A lot of suggestions, recommendations on how to move DVT forward in this country. How do you want to advance all of these recommendations?
As I stated, this meeting today is a starting point. A discussion of 1.5 hours can only serve as a starting point for further discussions, for further meetings, and what we need and what we propose is a DVT conference on the subject within the next 3 or 4 months. We will continue our discussions with the stakeholders involved, private sector, public sector, Nigerian, German, and in the end we have to come up with a concept that can serve as a model for a system to be implemented here. And today's discussion, today's meeting, I think gave us hope that this could be realized within the next 3 to 4 months as a starting point for further detailation of a concept. That's very much.
And Standard Chartered's Islamic division is seeking banking licenses in 3 African countries in order to offer its services to the continent's large Muslim population. According to the head of Islamic banking for retail clients, Muhammad Ali Alawala, Standard Chartered Sadiq could enter at least one of these markets, namely Nigeria, Botswana and Zambia, as early as 2017. A Pew Research Center shows that the Muslim population in sub-Saharan Africa is forecast to more than double from about 250 million people in 2010 to nearly 670 million in 2050. The bank says it is also in discussions about gaining an Islamic banking license in Brunei in Southeast Asia and working with the regulator there on guidelines for Islamic wealth management. And to Mozambique, the International Monetary Fund says it could agree a new aid program with the country by the first quarter of next year if the government pledges to renegotiate loans with creditors and to carry out a debt audit. The IMF cancelled its aid program to Mozambique this year after billions of dollars in undisclosed loans emerged. In the meantime, Mozambique's Finance Minister, Adriano Melani, says that the country is committed to carrying out an independent international audit to bring transparency to government's debt that stands at $11.2 billion. Mozambique faces huge short-term fiscal challenges due to the rising external debt, the depreciation of its currency and political violence, but the long-term economic outlook is positive. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Business Incorporated. Thank you for staying with us. We do appreciate your time with us on the program. I am Bolaji Akiwale. See you next time.